Hi, Bill Barber from Poliigon here. In this video we're going to look at how to properly light a scene with Poliigon HDRs using Maya and Arnold. Okay, so this is the scene that we'll be using today. It's just a simple model of a house. There's no materials or anything like that assigned because we're just focusing on lighting today. I do have a camera set up and yeah, that's about it. So, let's talk about lighting. Now the first thing I'm going to do is add in a a Arnold dome light, which I'm just going to place up there. It doesn't matter where we put it. I'm just going to keep things neat and tidy, and that gives us all these attributes over here. Now, under the color input here, I can load in a Arnold texture. There we go, and we can now go and pick a HDR to light our scene. So let's go to here, where we've got a bunch of files. Ignore the .tx's, they've been generated by Arnold as I've been experimenting and whatnot. So it's the two EXRs and the JPEG that we want to pay attention to. Now typically, if you're doing a quick lighting on a scene, you probably think let's just go for the highest resolution EXR and be done with it. So let's do that now. So with that selected, I'll hit load in our EXR, and yeah, that should be our scene ready to go. So what I'll do at this point is turn on the interactive renderer, and there we go. So our scene is being lit. Brilliant. We do have a couple of problems though. One, the memory usage at the moment is horrendous. We're nearly at 2 gig, and this is a scene with very simple geometry and no textures. So we don't really want to be at the 2 gig mark just yet. And that's literally just because we're using such a high resolution HDR. The other issue we have is, even though the lighting is actually just about where I'd want it in terms of where the shadows are being cast and whatnot, the background doesn't match our scene. It looks out of place, it looks strange. So we're going to fix both of those problems. First of all, I'm going to close this window down because it's slowing everything down. And I'm going to, instead of using this 16K HDR, I'm going to use a nice low resolution 2K one of the same image, just a downscaled version. And there we go, so that's working well. We're now using the low resolution HDR. The lighting is pretty much unaffected, it looks pretty much the same. The background, however, is somewhat blurry, but that doesn't matter because we're going to do something now that will fix that for us. I'm going to jump over to our HDR, and I'm going to turn off the camera completely. The visibility, sorry, I should say, of the camera. And there we go. So, we're still getting the same level of lighting, everything's looking good in terms of that, but we now don't have the ugly backdrop. So what we can do is close down this again. I'm now going to add in another dome light, which I'll place just below the other one. And in this dome light, I'll put in another Arnold AI image, and instead we'll pick this 16K JPEG. Now that's a JPEG's got a much lower file size, while still retaining the detail we'd want for a backdrop. Now we couldn't use it for lighting because it doesn't contain the necessary information to properly light a scene, but for a backdrop it is perfect. So now with the other HDR selected, I can turn down all of these. That's going to stay up regardless by the looks of it. There we go. I actually think it's still trying to render. Odd. Anyway, so this second HDR now is only going to be affecting the camera. So if I start up our interactive render yet again, we can see our backdrop's back and looking all nice and high resolution and whatnot, but this now isn't affecting our lighting whatsoever. The lighting's still coming from the 2K HDR in the other dome lamp. So now if I go down to the offset again and set this to, I don't know, -0.1, we'll notice the, once Arnold catches up, we'll notice the backdrop moving, but the lighting will be unaffected. Like so. And then maybe if I set this to 0.2, I'll lower it a little bit, and now we've just got some sky, but with the nice lighting from our original HDR. So in summary, we've taken some HDR files from Poliigon.com, brought them into 3ds Max, we've assigned a low resolution 2K EXR to light our scene, whilst using a high resolution but relatively low file size 16K JPEG as our backdrop.